Hey, all right, this is Walter and iWalter. Sorry about that, folks. I was off for almost a week now, I guess, at least 5 days, I would say. It is now October 27th, Tuesday morning. Actually decided I will finally do a show. Let me see if I can just adjust my mic a little bit so I don't have to bend over as much. Yeah, I'm trying to get better levels. Actually, it's more distracting, though, this way. But yeah, I was doing a couple things. I've been still off from work, still getting paid, thank goodness. Actually, yesterday, or actually, I should say Sunday now, I totally had forgotten about it, and I was like, last minute idea. I decided to go and go to this convention in New Jersey. It was in Parsippany. It was called Chiller horror convention or something, or it's basically, it was just called Chiller Convention. And my main reason for wanting to go to this was because they were doing an anniversary get together from all the people who did the movie called Frankenhooker with Patty Mullen and James. Excuse me, I forget his last name. I got to look it up now. I actually just friended him. Thank God. Well, he accepted my me friending him. James. He was the main character. He played the doctor in the Frankenhooker, and he was actually really funny, too. Let me turn off my thing. I got a bunch of stories, so I'm going to have to kind of go do a makeshift job because I can't read everything I wanted to read, too successfully, so I'll try my best. And I want to see who... He was really cool to meet him in person. He's very funny, too. Looks like James... I apologize. I hope he doesn't listen in, because if I screw up his name, he's going to be... probably not too happy. He was a very nice man. So was Patty Mullen. James Lorenz. So I apologize if I got your name wrong if you do decide to listen in. Most people don't. Very nice people. I think Patty Mullen looks really good. Both of them do. It was just funny because this guy, James, he sounds exactly like he did in the movie when he did Frankenhooker. He's done some other films too, but his voice is very distinctive. And I said to him, I said, you made that movie very funny, which I really appreciated it. Both of them did. Personally, I think Patty Mullen, she's incredible because she has that New York accent still. I think she lives in Florida actually now, but she still has this really strong New York accent. She may not notice it. I do because, we probably have an accent too. I don't notice it, obviously, on myself, but I definitely notice people who come from New York and their accent. So I just basically asked her, I said, hey, I remember you being on Howard Stern? She said, I was on there quite a few times. Again, they were very friendly. But I drove 2 hours just to see those guys from that film, and I kind of left afterwards. I bought a few trinkets I probably shouldn't have bought because the money went too quickly. It cost $40 just to get into this event for just Sunday. And I didn't realize until I left, I looked on Facebook, a lot of people had posted a lot of pictures of, what they have gotten with themselves and celebrities. And I forgot half the people that were there. This was a really big event. And I totally just basically wasted my money in some ways. It wasn't a total waste for me because I really enjoyed meeting at least the two I mentioned, Patty Mullen and James. Again, I don't want to get his name wrong. Lorenz, I think. Both very friendly people, very cool to meet. Yeah, and by the way, I have all these. When I cleaned my room the first week I was off, I did a lot of cleaning up in my room at home, and I found all these movie passes. So that was another thing I had done. By the way, when I was at this horror convention, yeah, they had the actual props, some of them from the original TV series. Well, there is only one of Lost in Space. The whole crew was there, but to get a picture with those people would have cost like $125. So I had to lay my foot down and say, okay, who do I really want to? I mean, I would love to get pictures with everybody. It looked like some people actually did, but it was just like, well, this is going to cost way too much money. And I really did want to just go personally to see Patty Mullen, not to put down anybody else. I just love those guys from that movie. But growing up as a kid, I used to love Lost in Space. They had Robbie the Robot, I guess is what technically he was called. and he was actually a working robot that would move and talk, so to speak. So I got a photo with him. I got some pictures of the whole original I should say not original, but Adam West. I'm sorry about the names. I'm not really familiar with them all. Adam West comes to mind. The guy who played Robin, the one of the three Catwomen, the one I actually liked the best. I really wanted to actually see her, but it was like, listen, if I pay for everybody I want to see, I'm going to make sure I get his name right. Lee Majors from the $6 Million Man was there. I really wanted to see him too, but it was like, wait, the girl from The Exorcist. God, I should know her name. See, I'm so bad with names, but I was like, I really just got to lay down the law and say, okay, where am I going to stop? This is just way too many people to get pictures with. It would be way too expensive. Yeah, I hate, sometimes I get pictures, as you get older, they don't look that great. Trust me, I look horrible. Unless you get a person who knows how to take really good pictures. Yeah, it would have cost me probably over $1,000 if I would have got pictures with everybody I wanted, and I couldn't afford that. So it's like, listen, I got to just decide who I really wanted to go for, which again was basically Patty Mullen, and I did it on last minute spur because I couldn't sleep the night before, and I actually tried to go to bed a little earlier, but it didn't work. So I set my alarm. I got up at like 6 o'clock in the morning just to make sure I left before 8 o'clock, which I did. And, it was like a little over 2-hour drive, so it wasn't too close. But it was fun. And it was funny because on Saturday of this past weekend, I kind of recommend it, but I guarantee there's going to be more people who are going to disagree with this, what I'm about to say, than will agree with me. But I actually went seen at this place. It's a restaurant/movie theater up in Collegeville. I think it's called Movie Tavern. And I went because it was only playing in like 2 places around where I live. And it's this movie called Paranormal Activity, the new one. I forget the rest of the whole spiel on the name. It's like the 5th movie they made out of this, continuing series of horror films. And the last 2 especially, I really liked. I actually liked the first. Actually, I shouldn't say that. I don't like the first one, but I like the other 4 movies. I like them a lot. And as they progressed, they actually really did scare me, quite a bit. So I saw the 5th one on Saturday, and I hate to say it, but I really jumped. I'm not even kidding. I jumped a few times in the movie theater, and it really scared the crap out of me. So, but you have to watch them all. You can't just like sit down at this point and say, okay, well, I'm just going to pick one of the 5 movies and watch it. Well, you can do that with the first one. But even the last film they put out before this one that I just saw and watched on or went and seen on Saturday, the 4th and the 5th one are actually interlaced, and they actually brought characters, this woman and this guy from the original film back, where they actually did a time travel back to the original film. Like there was this portal, set up by basically hell. If you want to call it Satan or whatever, and from witches, who in the last 4th movie had set up a portal. This guy fell through, the one character in the 4th movie, and he ended up in the very first movie, and they matched it up so well, it really freaked me out because it was like, wait a minute, this guy just jumped back in time. And he was in the present. He was in like 2014 at the time, and he went back to like 1987 or something. I can't remember when the first movie was supposed to be placed because they're obviously, the time's all fictionalized. The movies are. So it really scared the crap out of me. So the guy got killed before, what would be technically the very last scene of the first movie, and it was really well done. They really put it together. You couldn't put it together any better than they did. And then they did slightly the same thing again. I don't think it was as impressive, but it definitely made me jump. So I can't say enough about that. I really liked that film. So that being said, I actually went and seen. There's a whole bunch of movies I want to go see, and I just had to pick out of them because I'm not going to have time to see every movie I want to go to the theaters. But I have all these movie passes, so it's really not going to cost me too much. Probably actually nothing at all. So anyway, I went and seen this movie, Steve Jobs, which I wouldn't recommend. The movie was completely awful. I don't know how it's gotten such great critics reviews. I heard it didn't do that well in the theaters, but if you really want to see a movie about the whole making of Apple and, how it was founded and about Wozniak and Steve Jobs, I would recommend the movie just called Jobs. That movie was beyond incredible. I liked it so much. I think I rented it online. And I liked it so much, it's like I got to buy a copy. So I bought a used copy, but I just wanted to have a copy because I know someday I'm going to want to watch it again. And that movie, I learned so much about the whole thing of how the whole thing started and where it, how it came about, with Apple and the conflicts. But this new one was just literally 2 hours of boredom. I mean, it was just him going. The actor they got him they didn't even make him up to look like Steve Jobs. I don't know anything about these people, but a friend kind of explained it to me in some voicemails on who they had decided, which was I can't remember his name. It'll come to me. The guy who played the Dark Knight. Let me check it out. I always do this. I want to say Christopher Lloyd, but I'm probably that's Christopher Nolan made the films. I'm trying to look for the guy's name. Why don't I do that with anybody else? Because it'd just be a real pain in the ass. For everybody, I don't remember names. Would just be it would take me all night just to figure out. It was Christian Bale. They wanted him to play actually Steve Jobs in the Steve Jobs movie, and he actually declined. And I could see why. The movie was just. Again, it was really bad. It was beyond awful. They had some slightly, I want to say, love interest for Steve Jobs in this movie, some woman. And I was like, boy, she's not bad looking. And then it was like she kind of looked kind of familiar. And I didn't realize it was Kate Winslet because I figured it out when I seen it in the credits. They said, hey, Kate Winslet's in the movie. And it was like, well, there was only like 3 or 4 people in the whole entire film that they actually shot constantly. I mean, you had just extras for everything else. And it was definitely Kate Winslet. It was like, wow, she really looked different. She actually looked she looked like she put on some weight for the movie, I guess. But it was just like, it looked like it was fictionalized. It was like, okay, this guy looks nothing like Steve Jobs. The movie Jobs, the guy actually... They made him up to look like Steve Jobs. Again, they gave you a lot of information for a movie, and a lot made sense. And in this new movie called Steve Jobs, it seemed like they just made up things to make the movie flow as a film and not like a true-to-life, story about a man's life. It like they had this, which he did have apparently, a daughter who he denied, but now they made it like, well, he denied him most of the movie, and now he is like, she's the center of his attention. It was like, and they were trying to proclaim that, one of his ideas that he came up with, Steve Jobs, was actually from his daughter out of what he named her or something. It was something really stupid. And then they were insinuating, I should say, that the reason he came up with the idea to make basically the original iPod was because he got tired of seeing his daughter carrying around a clumsy cassette deck, and it was like, okay, this is beyond ridiculous. There was 3 people in the movie theater when I saw it, and it was the biggest, like it's one of these multiplexes. They put in the biggest screen. They only sold 3 tickets, and mine was a free one because I had a movie pass. And one of the three people, we were all guys, all three of us, I should say. The one guy kept on getting up every so often. He left for like 20, 30 minutes at a time because I think he was so bored by the movie. I was just really irritated that he would leave for a good 20, 30 minutes and come back. The movie was 2 hours. So you leave, like, he left at least 4 or 5 times. So he was only in there for an entirety of about 15, 20 minutes for the whole film because I've done that before. I've walked out of the film and I came back, but it was just because it was so bad. And this would be one of the times for this guy, I guess, who decided to see this movie about Steve Jobs. Everybody who uses Apple products like myself wanted to go see this, but obviously it was just a waste of time and a waste of energy. I really regret wasting my free ticket. As a friend would say, I felt like I was robbed literally of an hour and a half of my life. An hour and a half. Yeah, I wish it was only an hour and a half. No, I'm sorry. It was 2 hours, a little over 2 hours. So I can't recommend that movie. Yeah, that was really bad. But hey, the movie, now that got a really good rating. It got an excellent rating. But yet, like a film like Paranormal Activity probably didn't get that great of a rating. I'm sure it didn't. I really can't tell you. And yet I liked that. I enjoyed that. So, and I actually bought a ticket now also I'm hoping I don't have to go back to work. If I do, it's no big deal. I need my job because I've been off of work for like going on 3 weeks now. But they actually have this Thursday coming, which I wouldn't be able to see otherwise if I was not out of work with pay, is for one night only for people who are interested. They're releasing the original Halloween movie. The John Carpenter, Deborah Hill original Halloween in the movie theaters for one night at 7:30 country, across the United States. So, unfortunately, they are charging you full price. They're not giving you any discount. Like if you're if you're a senior citizen, you're paying the same amount I have to pay. And I bought a ticket for me and my parents and I, and it was $15 a pop. And that is like more money than you pay for a 3D movie. And this is just the standard original two-dimensional film. So I don't know why they're charging that kind of money. Now, when my parents and I saw that film the first time, probably 30 some years ago, I will guarantee you this, all three tickets cost us no more than $10 because they were like $3.25 at the time. Now, all three tickets cost me $50 because I bought them online. You had to pay a service fee and all this other BS. So I think it's ridiculous. So yeah, it cost me $50, which would have cost years ago no more than $10. So that really just kind of bothered me, but I didn't care. And I mean, because this would be probably my only other chance I'll be able to see that. I actually did go to the Back to the Future trilogy also, in addition to everything else on movies. So a lot of these movies I've seen before, but not the Paranormal Activity, which I really enjoyed. So, yeah, that reminds me. I'm going to throw this in my mix now. I was going to wait. I don't think I'm going to be able to find it, though. Looking now. I got so many stories, I don't even know where to actually... I just posted a bunch. But I totally forgot about, and I wasn't... it's gotten so bad, Doctor Who. And by the way, since the beginning of my show, when you listen to it, you've heard a parody, I should say. And it's a parody from a Katy Perry song where guy sings it, though, not Katy Perry. And it's a parody on Katy Perry's Wide Awake or something like that. And instead it's about regenerations. So I thought it was pretty cool. I had to put that in. Hey, it's Doctor Who. I love Katy Perry. I'm not going to leave that out. So I'm looking for it now. There was a story on that, too. That's the thing that's kind of funny. And it was actually... Here it is, Radio Times. Katy Perry meets Doctor Who in the surprisingly touching music video. Wide Awake becomes Regenerate. It's great, honestly. That was just posted on Radio Times the other day. So yeah, you can check out the music video. It goes through the regenerations. I think it's kind of neat. I liked it. I'm not going to read the article. Find it on Radio Times. I just, want to let you know what that was. But why I'm bringing that up, though, was now I lost the story I was just going to read. It was in the, yeah, I got so many freaking stories. I don't even know where to start at this point, actually. Yeah, you know what? I'm actually, I hate to say this. This sounds really weird. I think I fell in love with Macy Williams. She is so cute. She's adorable. She's this young girl that played in some HBO show. She's actually British, though. I'm trying to look at the show she played in. So he keep on pulling up more stories just for me to read. And this would actually be, she might be a continuing character. She's like an immortal. She was made immortal, that she can't die ever. Apparently, they kind of insinuated more than once that Doctor Who is going to be living forever, too. He had a time span that he can only regenerate 12 times. Now they're saying, no, he's pretty much he's been made also a couple episodes back, or I think it was the 50th anniversary, they decided to make Doctor Who. The Time Lords made him immortal, so... Yeah, I can't remember what... Game of Thrones, I think it's called, right? Well, they even had, because I bought it on iTunes, the show, so I finally got to watch it. You don't have to watch when they come on. You can watch whenever you want. And they give you all the extras. They had like a 9-minute special behind the scenes, the new Doctor Who episode with Macy Williams, and it was like, God, she is so adorable. She's a cute little girl. And she is. She's really tiny, because standing next to the new Doctor, she looks like a little dwarf. I mean, she's really petite. She's really tiny. I mean, petite means she's thin. Well, she's that, too. But she's like a little doll, a little China doll. They said she's been working in film since she was 12 years old. So I think she's like 18 now. I have no clue about her. I never really bothered to watch the Game of Thrones. I had no desire to watch those kind of shows. That show, I should say. But I was kind of forced to, so to speak, after watching, Doctor Who for how many years now. And, I was really surprised. Personally, I think the episodes continue just to really suck. Doctor Who is not what he used to be, but she is just so cute. I love her to death now. I'd love to meet her in person sometime. Hopefully she's not one of these stuck-up actresses, though. I hope not, because I met some very pleasant actresses and actors, but then it seems like the younger ones that I've met over the years seem like they usually have a little bit of an attitude, like the younger people do. The older people are always generally pretty nice. Even if they have to fake that they, they got to be nice to you. Hey, I'll take that over top of somebody you pay all this money to go see and they're total, like, assholes to your face. I mean, I don't like that at all. So, yeah, that'd be my only fear. But, yeah, she's a cute little thing. But they're trying to go back and forth. I don't know if Game of Thrones is on any longer. If it is, that would be one of the problems they would have with her, because she's been on that show. She was on from age 12, and if I'm thinking she's 18. I don't know. Maybe she's older. I don't know. She looks awfully young. And the thing is, hey, if you're on the show for 6 years, the last thing you're going to do is give up a show that you can't get out. You're pretty much stuck in a contract, I would assume. So she loves doing Doctor Who, apparently, though. She really liked doing it. Hey, I enjoyed watching her. But again, yeah, the Doctor Whos are horrible. They just continue to get... I thought they were getting a little bit better with the new actor. He's great, the new actor. I like him, but the shows really suck. I mean, you're not talking Tom Baker material, trust me. But yeah, I just enjoyed seeing her. You know what? Talking about people in younger generation be really ignorant. A friend had sent me this other day. I think I said that word right. This was back on the 24th of this month. and I was going to read it, but you know what? I didn't do stories for such a long time. I never bothered, and now I have to dig it up. This is what I mean. I got too many stories now. So it was on the New York Post, and it says kids are getting cars. I can't even, you know what? It's one of these times my friend Matt's going to laugh at me. I can't pronounce this word, but it says spa retreats and for good grades. So, you know, my one friend Matt, he always says that I really, you know, he doesn't say it directly, but he acts like I don't know what I'm talking about these kids being spoiled and kids crashing up cars and everything like that. But this story almost kind of, I've never read it, so I might be just, you know, basically putting my foot in my mouth or talking out my asshole. But it says this one kid, he gets a brand new Jeep Cherokee from his grandparents as a reward for academic efforts. Now, I mean, my parents spoiled me a bit, but not like this. And they said Olivia Gluck, a 14-year-old from the Five Towns area of Long Island, was psyched to be the 2015 class valedictorian at her private middle school. But was even more excited when she was rewarded a shiny new MacBook from her father, which retailed for, which he paid $1,500. No, wait a minute, $15,000 for. Because I looked at the decimal. No, wait a minute, I think I was right. Yeah, okay, I'm apologizing. Because the new Macs, the new computers are around $15,000, $10,000. But it's still, that's a lot of money. $1,500. He paid his daughter, gave her a $1,500 computer. That's a little bit steep, in my opinion. And it says Olivia is not the only one in the Gluck household riding an academic gravy train. Her 20-year-old sister, Alex, a junior in a fashion institute of technology, has been promised 3 pair of fancy shoes. She is partial to Christian, I don't know, that's the name I couldn't pronounce, Louboutin or something. If she raises her GPA from 3.7 to 3.8, well, that's, I know a lot of people who have like A averages, but that's just a little ridiculous. And a brother, Ryan, 17, as a senior at a private high school, got a brand new Jeep Cherokee last year from his grandparents as a reward for his academic efforts again. I mean, this is ridiculous. Yeah, but this article, again, it was dated a couple days ago. Just talking about basically kids are way over, what do you call it, given, like, they're basically spoiled. And they're saying somebody who was 11-year-old Samantha, a 6th grader at a public middle school, this is a different part of this story, has her eyes set on a $400 Segway, and I'll be hers if she gets a positive feedback on her classroom participation. So they're rewarding kids with very expensive toys. Yeah, this whole, but I'm just stating why I said this about the younger generation, why they act so ignorant, though. I'm just going to read this. I have no clue. I just seen the number of $10,000 a week, so I got to read this. In this story, again, titled from New York Post, kids are getting cars, Louboutins, whatever, and spa retreats for good grades. So I'm not even kidding. There's something with the number dollar signs of $10,000. Some girls' parents promised a week-long spa getaway to Arizona's Lux Canyon Ranch last year for completing her required reading. The simultaneous getaway, a favorite of celebs like January Jones, cost around $10,000 a week. Can you get that? I mean, can you believe that? Something else in this story. Some girls, I guess, yeah, she's going to get a job, finds a job. Her parents will pay her $500 for hair treatments. Yeah, I mean, this is ridiculous. And once again, this is why you got these kids who walk around with their heads pretty much all the way up their ass, and they have no respect for anyone. So I just had to throw that in. And it's nothing against, what did I say her name was? Macy, I was going to say Macy Gray. No, that's not it. I think, was it Macy Williams I said? Yeah, it has nothing to do with her. The girl from now Doctor Who. Let me pull up another tab real quick and see if I can get her name. I think that was right. Because she's just an adorable kid. And I'm sure she works for what she, pays. Yeah, Macy Williams. She is so cute, though. Yeah, she's adorable. British girl. So, I have nothing against that. A friend just sent me this. It was on CBS News, and it says Chewbacca, from Star Wars, by the way, arrested at a Ukrainian polling station. And I don't know what's going on there. I don't know if it's a joke or what. Members in the Internet Party of the Ukraine, a fringe political group who standard bearers dress as Star Wars characters, were confronted by police at a polling place and Odessa Sunday when they showed up to vote. Okay, so this wasn't really the actor who played in the costume of Chewbacca. These are people who dress up. What did I say? In Ukraine, in Star Wars costumes, and one guy got arrested or something. Yeah, that's pretty funny. So I looked at that, really just kind of blew my mind. I didn't know if I opened this. I was I couldn't find it. I mentioned, these people really don't care. They were nice enough to be nice to my face, at least. But I told Patty Mullen, there was something she posted on her page, and it seemed very much on my, in my beliefs on, in politics. She seemed like she made a very, conservative remark about something, and I could not find it. So, I forget what it was. I wish I could remember. But anyway, what I was trying to go, it has nothing to do, I apologize, with Patty Mullen. But I found this conservative story. It's on right-wing news, and I thought it was pretty interesting. I have not read any of these stories, so I'm just going to let you know. I never really do. I at least glance at them, though. But it says, when Ford reads presidential tea leaves and moves Mexican plant back into Ohio, and are showing Donald Trump. So it looks like it's going to be between Trump and this other gentleman, Ben Carson. So it's a win-win situation because both those guys are really pulling the political power. And either one would be a much better choice than probably anybody else on either ballot, in my opinion. Yeah, somebody wrote, hoo-hoo. Ohio must be thrilled. Under pressure, Ford is moving back to their Mexican plant worth $1 billion back into the states, Youngstown, Ohio, to be exact. There will be 1,000 new jobs for factory workers there. So that's really good. If this is true, and they're really worried about getting Trump into office, the politicians in these businesses, they're afraid that Trump's going to really put the thumb screws down on these people. I'm more for it. I actually do like Trump, so I want to see the man get in. I don't care if it's Ben Carson or Trump. Either man, once again, is going to be definitely, I think at this point, I will definitely vote for no matter who is on the ballot for R, but if it's either one of those guys, it's just going to make it that much better, I think. I think we're going to, especially with Trump, this is just my opinion, but I think we're going to go back. And some people are saying, well, you're just listening to all the hype, which I kind of am, but not that much. Trust me. I don't have enough time. I've been too busy worrying about myself, but I think Trump would probably be like the next Reagan almost. Not quite, but definitely would be close. Sorry, I just took a swallow of soda. I really think that Trump, he's like, Reagan was always into the political issues. He was always doing stuff in politics. And I really can't say that about Trump, so most people think or actually say that I have no clue what I'm talking about. But honestly, and everybody always picks on Reagan because he was an actor. They don't see anything beyond that he did Bedtime for Bonzo. They don't see that, or he was in Westerns. Well, I hate to tell you, Reagan did do a lot of political stances on a lot of issues way before he became president. And I'm not saying that Trump has, but I think both these men are more concerned about the well-being of the us individuals as Americans and of America more so than most politicians do about how they can get reelected or stay in power for as long as possible. I think there is a definite difference between the two men I just mentioned and most basic politicians who only really do care about themselves. Again, this is just my opinion, so I'm just that's my right as an American. All right, I just had to get that political view out. By the way, because I wasn't on, and actually, this is actually on a David Tennant webpage. I swear, no, I'm not going to say it. It says TennantNewsBlogspot.com, and because David Tennant's going to be in a new series, I didn't notice. This is something different. It's Marvel's Jessica Jones. Excuse me, I just belched. Whoa, that was a stinky one, too. A burp that stunk. That's horrible. But yeah, David Tennant, was one of the Doctor Who's. He's one of my favorite new Doctor Who's. I actually really like Christopher Eccleston, too, a lot. But anyway, there's going to be a whole universe for the characters in Daredevil. Literally, there's going to be a whole universe of characters having, obviously, I think Jessica Jones is not going to be the only one. It might even be, I won't be surprised if they do one for the Punisher as well. Anyway, I thought Jessica Jones, the way I encountered it, I thought Jessica Jones was going to be part of Daredevil. No, she's getting her own series. It is part of Daredevil's universe, according to the way Netflix is putting it together, but she's getting her own series, and they're going to overlap. So, because Daredevil's not coming back to next year, but Jessica Jones, I think, starts in November. So, yeah, and you'll be able to get the whole entire series. I don't know if I told you, I did finish that series, by the way. Talking about series, that one on Penny Dreadful, and I actually like the second series much, much better than I liked the first series, season 2. And again, I have my difference of opinion for, what was her name? Billie Piper. But she did an incredible job. I think she was like trying to push for some type of Emmy or something because she really just blew my socks off when I watched the last couple episodes. She, she was supposed to be technically the bride of Frankenstein's creature. Well, she became more of a monster than in this storyline than the rest of Frankenstein's creatures, because he made two different men, out of body parts, so to speak, and then he made her, and she's the most vicious and evil one of all of his creations out of the three of them. And she did such an incredible job, Billie Piper. It really just shocked me. Like, I don't like her after the way she acted a little bit snooty at that comic book convention, but I'll tell you, she really just proved herself as an actor. She is really, really good. Yes, I said actor because that's being politically correct. You can say actress, but I say actor. So, whatever. So, hey, and it was all, that was a funny thing because I said this to some guy, his name's Chris. Really cool guy. He does a lot of artwork for these comic conventions, and he actually made, I'll have to go into that a little bit later if I remember. He made these really cool, I'm not even kidding, these Halloween 3 T-shirts. I'll go into that about Halloween 3 too a little bit later, I hope. But these looked really cool, and I said, I told this guy Chris, I said, listen, hey, if I knew you made those T-shirts, I would have gave the money for you to you because to buy one of your T-shirts, because one, they looked awesome. Two, you're just like, he's a really cool dude. He made He works at this place called, I think it's Michael's or Joanne's. I think it's called Michael's, the craft store over in King of Prussia Mall, that location. And he did a really nice job. It cost me like $700. He made me a frame for all my Friday the 13th paraphernalia. It was like all this stuff I had autographed and signed and all this other stuff. And it's in a big shadow box, but it's so fucking big, I can't hang it on a wall because the whole wall would fall down. It must weigh about 25 pounds, but it's really cool. Anyway, I don't even know why I went off that side note. Yeah, I can't even remember. That's me, though. I lose my train of thought. Yeah, I'm blank. That's amazing. I'm just happy. I'm ecstatic because if I'm off the rest of this week, I'll be able to enjoy my Halloween the way I want to. By the way, too. Speaking of which, yeah, a lot of good horror movies coming out, and I like I said, I do want to go back. I want to remember that Halloween 3 again. I told you, I think I did. One night only. The original Halloween will be in the movie theaters. Real quick, because maybe I will just go on the Halloween thing since I forgot everything else. I got these stories lined up. I have to do that because I will forget. But this would have been a couple days ago. I would have read it. I'm reading it now. It was on comicbookmovie.com. Zack Snyder teases some new surprising developments with the Batmobile in Batman versus Superman. So I won't read that one because I've read so much on that. They actually did have some stories, new photos up, new, not nude, but new photos up of the guy who's playing the Joker, that Jarrett something. I think his name's Jarrett. And they do look really good. Anyway, with Halloween 3, it was kind of funny. That was one movie when I first heard it was coming out, and I heard that Michael Myers, I'm talking about when it first came out. I was a little, pretty young. And I was really mad when I found out, like, wait, Michael Myers is not coming back for another movie? And that was because both Deborah Hill and John Carpenter did not want to see that again. They were tired of seeing, they didn't want to do, 2 was more than enough. So, yeah, so they said, well, we'll come back. We will do another Halloween movie, but it has to be something completely different. We're not doing another Michael Myers. And after that was understood, yeah, they made Halloween 3, which, okay, now I remember I was going to say, that was made about witchcraft. So real quick, I'm going to do another sidetrack. Both that movie I had just seen of Paranormal Activity, they got more involved with the last 2 movies with witchcraft, which was really cool because witchcraft's on the comeback on horror movies and TV shows. So that being said, that Penny Dreadful was also about witchcraft, which was really well executed. It was incredible. And I just can't say enough. I loved it. So that was another thing too. That's mainly what I wanted to mention, and there was something else too. But yeah, the Halloween thing. It was called Season of the Witch, by the way, and they did go in a different direction. They did put a little bit of a joke in the background. They actually showed the film of Halloween in the movie of Halloween 3 with Season of the Witch, because some guy kind of reminded me of that. He said, yeah, they did that kind of as an inside joke kind of thing. So, but I never really, when I found out, like, wait a minute, it's nothing to do with Michael Myers. At the time, it was like, okay, I'm not interested in this film. So I didn't even give it a chance. But there's been more and more people over the years have surfaced and said, listen, that is the best Halloween movie by John Carpenter and Deborah Hill. Out of all 3 of them, that was the best one. I'm talking about the original ones, not the new ones, because they're just not even worth going to see. They're just really, no puns intended, they are really beating the dead horse with that whole Michael Myers thing. That should have been a dead issue years ago. So I think people are finally, like myself, are finally realizing, wait a minute, they had a reason, a purpose why they wanted to get rid of Michael Myers, that whole theme. It was just, it was done with. So, again, that being said, Season of the Witch has really made a comeback as being like a classic movie now, finally, which I never even realized. And people I talked to said, yeah, that was probably the best one. The Michael Myers thing was cool, but then it was done with. They don't need to do anymore. And I think what really ruined it now is the fact that they keep on making more and more movies called Halloween with Michael Myers. You know, even the Rob Zombie one. We didn't need any more. We had like 10 movies of that. So it's not like Jason. Jason's different. I mean, Friday the 13th, it doesn't seem to grow old, but with the whole thing with Halloween, it did grow old very quickly. In fact, it went on way too long. So, again, yeah, people are tired of that crap. I know I was a long time ago. I liked the first two movies, though. Yeah, Deborah. I mentioned this before, but Deborah Hill and John Carpenter, their whole intention was, well, we're going to try to make. We want to do Halloween movies every year, but they're going to be on a different theme around Halloween, so it would be fresh all the time. And the start of that was with Season of the Witch, which obviously did so bad in the theaters, and people were so disappointed. It was like, wait, Michael Myers is not here. That it just kind of tanked. And it was a shame because years later, there's people who are saying, wait a minute, that was a great idea to do something different. So, that being said, I think it was just this year, they actually released they made replicas. They're kind of expensive too. The latex mask that were in the movie from Halloween 3, the mask that you would buy your children in the movie, and if they put them on, they were set up with a spell, some type of demonic spell that would basically kill your kid. Like it would turn your head into a pile of mush, or like insects and snakes, because it was demonic hex on these rubber masks. One was a pumpkin, one was of as a witch, and the other one was of a skull head. So they actually released those. They said these are perfect replicas from the film. So I actually ended up buying one. I found one cheap for $40 on Amazon, but I guess they sold out so quickly that the next time they're going to get these shipment of these masks in aren't until November. So I figured, you know what, just for nostalgic reasons, I know so many people like that film, I got to get one because otherwise the masks go up to about $100 a pop. But they sold out really quick, obviously. You can't find them anywhere. But the funny thing is, these particular masks from the movie also had this little thing that looked like a button on the back, and it was supposed to be from this fictional company that was basically a bunch of witches and warlocks. It looked like a button that was, and that's what actually set off or triggered off these masks with the hex, were these buttons that had a shamrock on there. Well, the replicas even got down to the most minute detail of putting that shamrock button that activated the masks in the movie into the replicas. So that made it even more so that, like, hey, you have to have one of those. Because that movie, at the time when it came out, was considered like a major disappointment. But then you find out years later, there's more and more people who love that film, Halloween 3. So I had to get that. And I wasn't a big fan. I actually did see it after I understood where, both John Carpenter and Deborah Hill were coming from on that film. It was like, okay, this makes more sense. This was designed to be a standalone movie, and there was supposed to be a different standalone movie every single year after that. And it never happened just because, and it was a great idea, but without realizing that's what their plans were, it just never made it past, stage 3 of their filming, so to speak. So anyway, hey, a different story. I forget who sent it. It was probably my friend Todd. And again, these are stories that are going to be all over the place because it's been so long. TMZ Sports, this was on the 24th of the month. Oklahoma Street Homecoming Parade, 3 people dead after car slams into fans. Now, that was a story I was going to read. I think that was one I found myself. Been seriously injured after a car slammed into fans watching the Oklahoma State Homecoming Parade Saturday morning, which was not this past Saturday, though. I don't think. According to reports, the vehicle was moving at high speed rates, probably young kids, and plowed through dozens of spectators. At this time, the 3 people had died and 22 are injured, according to police. Stillwater, which is at Oklahoma. The driver, a 25-year-old woman, has been arrested in suspicion of a DUI. University President Burns Haggis said the game scheduled for Saturday afternoon between Oklahoma State and Kansas will be played in honor of the victims. That's just ridiculous. People just have no responsibility. I got to get off these more down, depressing stories and get into more horror movies. I thought there might have been story attached. I got some stuff on my Facebook page I remember it was this one particular Night Gallery. I think it was from the film. Yeah, it was from the movie, made-for-TV movie of Night Gallery before it actually was made into a regular series. And it was that one Roddy McDowell, I think, played in it. Was it Roddy McDowell? He played in Planet of the Apes. He was in the... just check out for... because there's a bunch of different paintings from Night Gallery. But they were showing pictures from the movie... Night Gallery movie they made for TV. It was actually really cool. I really liked that. I like Night Gallery, period. So makes me want to watch it again. Now that I mention his stuff, I'm going to want to watch it. Hey, I got to bring this up. This is what came up next, and I tell you, this was definitely a 10 Kleenex pictures. They had somebody put up, Sam Sherwin put up pictures of Carrie Fisher when she was on a beach in that slave costume, and she's all freaking wet. She's in an ocean, and she's enjoying herself. And I hate to say it, I was enjoying myself. She was getting really saturated. The pictures are just beyond hot. And you look at Carrie Fisher now. I love Carrie Fisher, but she's not the 20-year-old she was back when she did Star Wars. And in that costume, she was beyond hot. And trust me, these are definitely pictures that will make your night very pleasant. Seeing her in a wet slave costume in the beach, getting herself in with a big smile and her mouth open, which I won't say what I'm thinking with that. Which actually kind of reminds me on a different note. I was hoping to have it for Halloween, which I'm probably not going to wear a costume. I actually bought it also for the film. I bought a Jedi Knight costume, and it cost me, I hate to say this, close to $200. I bought a custom-made lightsaber, which was sold out from this place I bought it from. It was on that web link called Esty, I think. So they finally, this was months ago, before I even knew what was going to happen with my job. So they finally got them back in stock, and I said, you know what, I don't care as long as I get it before Christmas. Christmas. Yeah, well, Christmas too. I'll keep my order for the lightsaber. So they said they mailed it. So I probably won't even get it for Halloween. But hey, I'll have it for Christmas because I'm one of the idiots who actually pre-ordered a copy of. I'm sorry, I'm laughing at some stuff I'm looking at. I pre-ordered my copy ticket for the new Star Wars movie. I think it looks really good. So, so I'm actually really psyched. Oh, well, actually, it's a horror story in itself. It's not really. This was a story I put up from October 27th. What is today's date again? It's the 27th. Okay, so it's not actually today's story. It was actually the 24th. It's put up today's date. Oh, that's a neat costume. Sorry. Again, I'm getting easy distracted. There's a costume place where you can buy the Jason Voorhees mask, where you can actually pull off the hockey mask part of it, and underneath is like Jason Voorhees' demented face. That's part of this rubber latex mask. Looks really cool. It's called Friday the 13th Double Adult Mask. Wow, it's only $30 too. I'm not going to buy it. It just looks really awesome though. It looks really cool. Whoever thought that one up did a really good job with it too. If you're interested, that's on costumesforless.com. I guess because it's getting near Halloween now. This stuff's going on sale. It looks really cool though. Oh shoot, I think I just might have lost my story. So I'm sorry about that. And you know what? I am so not only easily distracted, but I forget what I was reading. Because I mentioned about Friday 2. You know what? Since I do have so many stories, it's not going to be that big of a deal. I just shouldn't have just got that easily distracted. Hey, you know what? And another thing is Friday 13th. Halloween is like my favorite holiday. I know it's not a holiday, but it is my favorite part of the year. Oh, by the way, that name of that Paranormal Activity movie is called The Ghost Dimension. I really liked it. I recommend it, but if you didn't see the other ones, don't bother to go see it. And on Halloween night, it's a shame I don't have it. Obviously, on Stars is Ash versus the Evil Dead. I am looking forward to that at least. It's a short drive, but it's gonna drive me crazy now. Trying to think what I might have forgotten, what I started talking about. Anyway, since I forgot that's whatever I was reading, another story. Actually, I read the date too. That should have helped. Wow. I think I'm getting Alzheimer's. I really do. I'm just looking through. I read about the Chewbacca thing and him getting arrested. Not actually read it. I just don't think it's worth it. So, folks, you know what? When I was talking about Halloween, though, this is interesting. It was on iHorror. I think it was just yesterday. And it said, spend Halloween night inside a replica Michael Myers house. Isn't that awesome? Yeah, it says 7th annual Halloween Bash, Saturday, October 31st, 2015, from 6:30 p.m. to midnight. Movie bonfires, tricks, treats, food, trucks, and the boogeyman. So it's a replicated house of the Myers home. And I think it's in North Carolina, though. Because I try to look, it's like, okay, this got to be in California. I didn't expect it to be down there. Yeah, the 7th Halloween Bash runs from 6:30 to midnight on Halloween, and the event is both free and open to the public. That's really good. It says no RSVP necessary, as if you're just hanging out at the Myers house wasn't cool enough. Caperton is serving up food and playing host to a pumpkin carving contest. Beginning at 7:45, both the Mutilator and the Halloween 3 season of the witch will be projected into a giant movie screen in the front yard, and the writer-director of the former Buddy Cooper will be on hand to sign autographs. He'll be joined by Edmund Farrell, who handled the film's makeup effects. For more information, full schedule events, head over to the Myers House website. So I'm going to do that now. Maybe I can give people some more information. I should probably actually post this on my Facebook. But it's called Myers House. No, Myers House something Tumblr.com. I'm going to copy this for people. Halloween Bash. Yeah, okay, there's a movie called The Mutilator, Halloween 3. And it's all free. So that's really cool. Unfortunately, it's not around here, around where I live. Myers House, NC, interior open. Wow, I really wish. I assume it's got to be North Carolina. Well, I'll post this for folks who address 1520 High Lane, Hillsborough, NC. So, yeah, Hillsborough, North Carolina. Why can't they have this stuff around? Well, is that where they shot the original? I don't really know. I'm kind of curious now. Did they shoot the original Halloween in North Carolina? I don't know. But, yeah, if anybody's interested, I will do that right now. Check it out. Facebook page, Walter. And there we go. I just posted it. So for more information, go to Walter's page because that's the best place you're going to get it. Sorry. But yeah, so some interesting stuff. Let me just see what else I have. Again, I apologize. I can't believe I just kind of lost my train of thought on that one story. Hey, this is pretty good. I was just ready to read this. I want many different directions. BestHorrorMovies.com. The 30 best horror films should be streaming on Netflix this October. I don't know if they are. I think they are, actually. The Monster Squad, Sleepy Hollow, Curse of Chucky, Burying the X, The House of October Built. No, the house is October Built. The Babadook, Housebound, Pony Pool, Tucker and Dale versus Evil, Halloween: The Curse of Michael Myers, Tales of the Dark Side, Honeymoon. That's all it says. The House of the Devil. Reanimator, Stakeland, Wes Craven's Nightmare, New Nightmare, From Dusk to Dawn, The Ward, Nightbreed, the director's cut, Hellraiser, Let the Right One In. That's the original one, by the way. That's the one that's French, I think. Scream, Mimic, Troll Hunter, The Omen, Saw, Dead Snow 2, Red vs. Dead. That was a horrible movie. Children of the Corn, Never Sleep Again, Elm Street Legacy, and Rosemary's Baby. They're all on Netflix this month, I think, for October at least. Maybe longer. So that was mentioned on, again, besthorrormovies.com. Why did they mention Frankenhooker? Those jerks. I got a lot of stories in my mix, by the way. Probably it's best I at least lost that one story I started reading because I got way too many stories on Star Wars, and I didn't intend to do that. Radio Times, again, I don't know when this was dated, but it says someone has cut all the Star Wars trailers into one story, and then suddenly it makes sense. The Force is strong with Star Wars Supercut. It was a couple days ago. I think my friend Todd sent it to me. Some galactic genius had edited all the 3 Star Wars Force Awakens trailers together, creating a surprisingly smooth narrative. Created by Science vs. Cinema, the fan edited takes the year-old teaser, the trailer from Star Wars Celebration, and the trailer release this weekend and finds an elegant way to blend them all together, giving us a sense of scenes follow on from each other. Okay, so he just meshes them together. I don't know. Sounds pretty cool. I think I know which story I was going to read. Oh yeah, it was these. Let me see if I can. It was pretty demented. I do remember amazingly because once I forget something, trust me, it's not coming back into my brain. But somehow I'd have to remember this piece of crap story that I was ready to read and I lost my interest on. It's a matter of just digging it up. I know what to look for. That's a bad thing. These little kids cutting their heads with blades. And they're Middle Easterns. I remember that much. And maybe it won't be that easy to find. But it was a story from a couple days ago I had. Oh, I even forgot about this story. This is pretty sad. American News. While I'm looking for the other story, I'll just read the caption, I guess. Mother who had throat cut by ex-fiance ordered to write him or face a jail time. This is no freaking joke. I looked at this story, and it's really pissed me off, actually. A woman who was tortured and beaten by her ex-fiance for hours in front of her children could face jail time if she refuses to write him a letter in prison, her ex-fiance, updating him on the progress of their children. This is no joke, by the way, folks. And again, it's on American News. That was kind of a couple days ago. I've been off for so long. Not the story I was looking for, though, but I just found it again, so. I'm going to see if I can find this story. I lost it again, but not intentionally this time. I actually just lost it. I do remember, like I said. I can't remember where I got the story from, though. I got to get a swallow of soda again, so please forgive me for a minute. And as you notice, my shows that are long, which unfortunately tonight's might be one of them, I don't take breaks. So, folks, you always have the pause button or just you say, you know what, I heard enough of this guy. He's an idiot. I'm not going to listen. Meaning me, that you can just turn me off. And I will take offense to it, so just let you know. Yeah, I'm trying to find this story now. There was another one I wanted to read. There was like no story to it. It was like really incredible looking, and I just passed that one now. Again, I got like a crap load of stories just because I've been off for like a good long time. Oh, it was on the Daily Star. Somebody uploaded a giant moth. This thing looks like literally it's the size of a bird. It's a moth. And I really don't like insects at all. But for some reason, a moth that's bigger than this person's hands seems like it's quite harmless. But I mean, it's the size of this lady's hands, and it's kind of funny looking. Cute, but funny. Okay, I gotta look for this story. I just got to do one more side note, because now that I added the one guy, James, from Frankenhooker, he did some movie years ago. It was like one of his first films that he acted as an ice cream cone. And I told him, well, thank you for adding me, but also, can you tell me where I can get a copy of your film that you were in? Because he's a director, too. I don't know if he directed that film. But it was like a little 15-minute short film he did, and he's literally an ice cream cone. Like I'm talking, like the sugar cone is his body, and I'm not joking. And his head is like the ice, like that soft served ice cream. And I was like, dude, I gotta see. This looks, because his movies are kind of campy, but that he plays in or directs. But it looks kind of funny. It's like one of these things you almost got to check out. It looks really cool at the same time. It's like it's 2000, year 2000 he made it. Now I'm trying to look for his name because I just added him. Or he just added me, I should say. As a friend. So, see, I can get very, very, very easily distracted. I thought he'd be on the top of my friends list, but he's not. Because he was the one who added me, so... I asked him, I requested him to add me, but he did it pretty quickly, so I was happy. Unless he already took me off. Maybe he knows I'm doing some stupid radio show or podcast, and it's like, I don't want this idiot on my pest me. He'll probably be stalking me next. Yeah, that's strange. Sorry. Yeah, James Lorenz or something, because I can't. I told him thank you for giving. Yeah, his movie was called Swirly. It looks really kind of cool. I'm not even kidding. So yeah, and I apologize. There was this other guy. I had no clue who he was. He was like the originator that at this convention I went to yesterday. Yeah, I'm going all over the place. And I forget his name, but he was the originator before what I used to watch on TV known as Dr. Shock. There was this, and there was a story I read on this guy the other day. I can't remember his name. He's like 92 now, So they did a horror story on him. Zaraki or something like that. He was like the originator of like the Dr. Shock before Dr. Shock was around as like, a host of horror movies, like the old B horror movies back, I guess, in the early days. And he was there, and I guess some other people, and they were very nice, and it was like, I'll have to check this guy out. So I looked him up online. It was like, yeah, this guy is really popular, and he was from like, found it in Philly, so to speak. So it was kind of cool, and it was like, yeah, I wish I would have got his autograph and stuff. Poor guy, he's up there in age. He might not be around for much longer, unfortunately. Alrighty, I'm sorry. I was trying to actually look for my I'm trying to look for this story with these kids. It was some like I want to say, yeah, kind of like a Muslim thing, but I keep on finding more stories that are just better than the one I wanted to read. This one I don't think I added, so I'm going to read it now. A Dreamin' Demon story. It was just the other day. After binge watching The Walking Dead, man beats friend to death with a guitar. Grants, New Mexico, Damon Perry admitted to beating his friend to death with a guitar after binge watching The Walking Dead. I just said the same thing again, explaining he did so because his friend was turning into a zombie. Police were called into Vista Mesa Villa Apartments on Thursday afternoon after someone called to report an intoxicated man with a knife. When officers arrived at the scene, they found two apartment complex maintenance men restraining a 23-year-old Damon Perry outside of his apartment. Just because he was trying to kill his friend because he was possibly turning into a zombie. God. He was trying to do a good thing, too, really. Sorry about that. I just had to throw that in the mix. Yeah, if I can find this story, folks, I don't know where I put it now. I'm going to keep on finding more and more stories I post it that are going to catch my attention. I'm never going to get there. I'm never going to get there. I'll tell you right now. I'll try, but this might be like I'm kidding, but an 8-hour show. So I've been putting up like tons of Halloween themed stuff. Pictures of women with scantily clad clothes, of course, too. That's my norm. And me in a hockey mask. I bought this Jason hockey mask. It was really cool. Do I need it? Absolutely not. Did I buy it? Well, yeah, I did. Some article, and some guy was dressed up supposedly as a mummy, but he looked like a Cyberman, from Hartnell's day. But where's this story I started reading, forgot about, oh, here we go. Young boys beat themselves with blades on the streets of Baghdad. I think it's that. Muslims all over the world take part in a bloody self-inflicting ceremony to mourn the death of the Prophet Muhammad's grandson. And these kids basically sliced off the top of their heads. They got like blood. Oh, God, these pictures are really nasty. I wish I would have remembered not to read this story and kept it forgotten. For some reason, I remembered this story. This was on the Daily Mail. That's what I was ready to say about 50 stories ago when I was going to start in the reading. I just decided not to. They're all pictures, and trust me, they are very graphic. Oh, by the way, talking about graphic, when I met James, the actor who played in Frankenhooker, which I did get a frame for, a really nice one. Thanks, guys, for that. The guy, James, said that originally the movie was going to get possibly a rated X rating, even though there was really no sex in the film, so to speak. And the reason it was because technically when that film came out of Frankenhooker, I hope I said Frankenhooker the first time, it was so violent, they thought, which it really isn't, it's satire, that he said they were going to try to slap on before NC-17 came out. The next step after rated R is rated X. They were going to give it a rated X rating. So it didn't get either, and the director toned down the movie enough to at least get it down to a better rating than what it was intentionally going to get. Anyway, back to my story. I want to get this one out because it's just really disgusting. Drenched in their own blood, young boys beat themselves with blades on the streets of Baghdad to mourn the death of the Prophet Muhammad's grandson, warning graphic content. Young boys beat themselves with blades on the streets of Iraq capital, Baghdad. Hundreds of men gathered in Manchester to slap themselves on the chest. Men and young boys were Shiites, Muslims, taking part in the holy day of Arosha. I'm sorry, folks. They were mourning the death of the Prophet Muhammad's grandson, Hishan or something. But this is really bad. I mean, they literally, these young boys cut off, like they scalped the top of their heads. There's no other way to put it. There's like nothing on the top besides blood, and they like shaved probably half part of their skull off by how deep they went. So, okay, I'm done with that story, and it's not coming back, trust me. Oh, Carrie Fisher's pictures again. Oh my God, those things are hot. God, I'm not even kidding. I wish I was. I really do. Oh, this was kind of funny because everybody still to this day hates Jar Jar Binks. So somebody made some stupid parody out of the new Star Wars trailer, and they call it Star Wars The Blink Awakens trailer number 2. And they replaced everything with Jar Jar Binks, and it's kind of funny. It was on comicbook.com, and it says Jar Jar Binks gets added to the Star Wars Force Awakens trailer. This was on the 24th. So if you need a kind of like irritated but funny laugh, check it out. I was half tempted to mention when I saw those Back to the Future movies, I saw those online beforehand. They had all these really goofy trailers for, like made-up commercial-type trailers from Back to the Future, honoring 30 years, I guess it's since it came out. And they actually played those all in the movie theater. It was horrible. Right now, I got on my wall in front of me this hockey mask I bought of Jason Voorhees hockey mask. And it's one this guy actually made a mold out of the actual mask they use in the movie. Some guy actually some art director or whatever you want to call it, got his hands on the mask they use in the movies, was able to make a mold out of it. And this one guy that I bought it from, this vendor, he actually gets the molded mask made from the original hockey mask from the Friday the 13th, and he paints them up the different ways it's shown in the different films. So these look like almost the real deal. These aren't the ones you buy in the stores for like $10. This one in front of me is much more bulkier looking, and he makes it look like it's been worn by Jason himself. So I got that face in me, and it kind of creeps me out, I'll tell you right now. Anyway, the story I got in front of me now is from the Dreamin' Demon, a couple days, probably 26. Indian teen gets revenge by decapitating her alleged rapist 5-year-old son. 5-year-old son. So it says India. Normally this guy who writes these stories, they're really pretty off the wall. That's the whole point about the Dreamin' Demon. The guy says, I normally stay away from stories out of India because no news from that area shocks me. But he states, but I had to make an exception after a 13-year-old girl got revenge on her alleged rapist by decapitating a man's 5-year-old son. According to the reports, the teenager said that she was raped by a man called whatever, because not even bother, in the teeny village of, oh, here we go again, after he offered her some print erasing whitener. The substance that the girl reportedly likes to huff on. Deciding to get some revenge against this guy for the assault, the girl set her eyes on the man's 5-year-old son, Amit, that's the only one I could read, while the boy was playing outside his house on Tuesday evening, and the girl allegedly lured him this little boy away, took him to a vacant plot, and beheaded him. Isn't that great? So there's more to that story, but yeah, I don't know. I'm being sarcastic. I just hope you know this. You probably don't, because I am a nutcase, so I can't help but tell wacky stories. But I cut that story off after I figured out what was going on. Alrighty, more Night Gallery paintings. I'm actually almost half tempted to see this film. I don't know. Maybe I won't. But it's coming out this week, I think on Thursday. Depending on what I'm doing, I may or may not see it. I wish it came out a little earlier. And it's on bloodydisgusting.com. It's a story on the upcoming movie, Scouts versus Zombie Apocalypse, or whatever. Or wait, I'm going to belch really loud, so I hope not. Oh, excuse me about that. It says NSFW, grab onto the zombie dick in his Scout's Guide to Zombie Apocalypse. Talking about dicks, I was looking at these really weird costumes you can buy, these rubber masks. I remember this in this one show one time. It was called Dream On. And it was so funny where this guy imagined, I think his boss or somebody who he hated, as a physical dickhead, like a big penis head on this guy's head. And they actually now made those this year. They're like $30. You can buy. I sent it as a joke to a friend. I said, maybe you want to get this as a Halloween costume, where you can literally buy a penis head, latex penis head to wear as a mask, on top, a rubber latex mask over your head. So I just had to interject that. It says, I've never really thought of zombie genitals, but now we're talking about it. Once rigor mortis sets in, you wouldn't stay hard. Saying we have a very NSFW clip from the Paramount Scout's Guide to Zombie Apocalypse, in which leads characters Ben, Carter, Aggie, and Dennis fight the horrid zombies that eventually lead to one grabbing a hold of an undead dick, and he's fallen out of a second-story window. Okay, never mind. I'm not going to read that one anymore. But the movie looks so bad, remotely entertained to see it. I think it would probably be best if they just made it that you could rent it and watch it at home. But they're going to force you to go to the movie theaters to see that. Unfortunately, though. Unfortunately. Oh, my one woman I love, Jade Starlin, looks like she's in some horror thing. Not a horror thing, but, celebration. Yeah, October 30th, 2015. Second annual Monster of Freestyle Ball. And Jade Starlin's going to be there. I don't know where this is at. It says Ticketmaster, though. I don't recognize anybody else. I've seen Jade Starlin's in the mix, though. Anyway, I got to get through these stories. My friend Todd sent me, so thank you so much. Teacher exchanged 2,400 texts with an 11-year-old girl that she wanted to run away with, prosecutors say. So thank you for this story, Todd. Anyway, Inside Edition, a former Pittsburgh teacher who allegedly sent thousands of texts to an 11-year-old student to convince this little girl to run away with her, has pleaded guilty to no. Well, she didn't plead guilty. Has pleaded no contest or something. No contest, according to reports. Whatever. Looks like Geraldine Alcorn, 29, entered her plea Wednesday to the Manderstater charge of corruption of minors. She was sentenced to 5 years probation and has been ordered to undergo a mental health evaluation. How these? I'm sorry for keeping beating a dead horse with this, but how do these women get away with serving any time? Like, this woman's going to get away with. She tried to seduce an 11-year-old girl by, sending her 2,400 sexual texts and text cell phone texts, and they're not going to do anything about it besides just giving her like a probation period. So this woman also forbidden from contacting the little girl. She must stay more than 1,000 yards from the child, so she's got a restraining order against her. Former elementary school teacher obsessed with the student, and after encrypting her phone number on the girl's math homework, the two exchanged more than 2,400 text messages over a 2-week period. That's a lot. The girl's mother, this little 11-year-old, found the text on her daughter's iPhone, which she told police. The mother also found notes where her daughter's in her daughter's binders that said things Miss Alcorn and I do. What can we do, and what can I when can I do it? So it sounded like there was more than just these texts. She might have been actually sexually assaulting an 11-year-old, and the most she's going to get is a slap on a wrist and a probation period for so many months. I'm trying to see what I mentioned to begin with. I just think, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to keep that span. Well, anyway, just check out fox29.com. Just look for the story again. It's titled Teacher Exchanged 2,400 Texts with 11-year-old Girl She Wanted to Run Away With. Prosecutors say. That's the name of the title. That whole thing is the title, so just letting you know. I just think the whole thing's ridiculous. You know, if that was, I mean, I hate to say this, if it was a male teacher, that would be the top of their list, is to make sure the guy was sent, lose his job, be sent to jail, and not get out until the age of 205. So, but if it's a woman, well, we should be a little bit more understanding about what she did. Bullshit. Give her the same fucking sentence you give a guy, you assholes. Anyway, I keep on laughing. I was going to read this story. It's on iHorror.com. Got to change it up a little bit. But I keep on seeing this picture from that movie, The Shining, with the twins. These little girls that, they're ghosts in the movie The Shining. Stephen King's based upon Stephen King's book. But somebody superimposed on the twins faces of Donald Trump, and it is so wrong, but it is kind of funny too at the same time. I'm sorry. And I love Donald Trump, but it gets to me every time I see him. I'm not going to admit to it. So if I say that, what I'm saying now, I'll just deny the whole thing. I'll just let you know. It says 7 films to watch in the final week before Halloween, which I probably read this before. I'm going to read it again anyway. Monday, October 26th, it says Trick or Treat, 1986. Tuesday, October 27th, Satan's Little Helper, 2004. Wednesday, October 28th, Black Sabbath, 1963. These are movies they suggest you watch every day up to Halloween and during Halloween. Thursday, October 29th, House on Haunted Hill, 1959, with Vincent Price. Not the new one. Friday, October 30th, Halloween 3, here we go again, Season of the Witch, 1982. And Saturday, October 31st, Halloween, the 1978 version, which I will see on Thursday. Yes. So that's really cool. Alrighty. I'm sorry. I am actually, hey, I gotta open this. This looks really cool. I totally forgot about this. This was actually on besthorrormovies.com. The 10 best sex scenes in horror movies. Number 10, Nude for Satan. Never heard of it. Number 9, Brain Damage. Number 8, Phantasm 2. Number 7, Monkey Shine. Number 6, Jason Goes to Hell. Number 5, Species. Number 4, Reanimator. I actually was going to buy this next one. Not that I ever watch them. Number 3, Necromaniac 2. Now, these are for the best sex scenes in horror movies. Number two is Fascination. Number 3 was Necromaniac 2. And number 1 is Vampirus. So, yes, it's I didn't read all the rest of it. Yes, sex and violence undoubtedly go hand in hand in horror, which is why sex is such a strong part of the genre. Sexuality is important undercurrent in many a genre film, and let's be honest, here sex and skin sells, especially to male audiences. Hey, that's why I liked Frankenhooker. There was other reasons too, trust me. What straight dude does? Well, here we go, because I would get beaten to death for saying this. Literally, what straight dude, quote unquote, what straight dude doesn't want to see sexy babes get nude and have some hot sex? Well, I'll tell you, that's why I watch them, because you feel less embarrassed by saying, yeah, I'm going to go watch a porn, because most of them are really bad anyway. Let's face it. Porn movies are just really horrendous. I don't care if they get awards. They have porn awards. They're just plain fucking bad. That's why I watch horror movies. At least there's some entertainment in those as well. Anyway, it says, well, the following is a list of absolutely the hottest and sometimes wildest sex scenes in, horror films. Again, that was on besthorrormovies.com. So thank you. Thank you for clarifying that, folks, and making me feel much better about myself of being a person who does not get sex at all. This was really cool. Different story. Not going to read it. I have my audio off. But, hey, this different story. It's nothing to do with sex and violence. Digitaltrends.com, it shows you a video of a 3D printed acoustic violin, and it sounds just as good as the real thing. And it does. I listened to it the other day. It was really, really good. So check that out. Jade Starlin. I just love Jade Starlin as well. Yes, I mentioned this earlier in this show. You can see it. It's now, I can give you the name of the link. Bloody-disgusting.com. Once again, new photos, not nude, new photos of the Joker from the Suicide Squad release. And yes, they do look very cool. This was really funny. I can't believe it actually exists. But if you want to see something that will literally make you laugh, check out this web link called squattypotty.com. And it seems like it was something that Howard Stern might have spoken about. It's a real deal. This a real deal, I'm not even kidding, something you can buy, is a stool step to help you shit better when you relieve yourself. I'm not kidding. The stool for better stools. It's, quote, this makes going number 2 a number 1. We've designed to squat. It says we've designed to squat. Too unnatural, and it shows diagram of somebody sitting straight on the stall, just right with the stool, and too natural. The modern day toilet is convenient, but has one major fault. It requires us to sit. While sitting to do our business may be considered civilized, studies show that natural squat position improves our ability to eliminate. I'm not even kidding. And it shows some puppet-like unicorn taking a shit, and it's like multicolored shit, and this little video commercial, whatever you want to call it, to advertise this product. The rainbow shit that the unicorn's giving out. There's this guy that's dressed up like a prince or something. He explains about this stool that you stand on when you take a shit, and he's like making soft-served ice cream out of this unicorn shit and giving it to little kids. It's really funny too, by the way. You could. This is not a joke, because there's a phone number and how much it costs to buy these stools for your bathrooms. It says order now or call 1-855-628-1099, and it's you can buy like multiple stools or just one. It says Echo Pack 1 for your own personal throne, $35. Includes fast 3-day delivery. That's a single pack. An Echo Pack of 2, don't forget mom, order 2 for $50. And if you have the Echo Pack 3, yes, it's that kind of party. It's $60 for 3 of them. And this is no joke. This is it's been endorsed by, it says the doctors, Howard Stern, the Huffington Post, Shark Tank, Men's Health, Washington Post, and NPR. Human tested, human approved. I just think that I don't know. I think the whole thing it's just so freaking goofy. Healthy colon happy life. And yes, I am not joking. It is a joke in some ways, but not really. I mean, you can really buy these things to take a shit with. Okay, hey, good news. I got like 5 stories left. I'm pretty sure. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, I got 5. I got it right. Dreamin' Demon. Chelsea Ake froze to death inside a Rejuvenous cryo chamber. This was on the Dreamin' Demon again. Henderson, Nevada. Police say a 24-year-old Chelsea Ake, a manager at the Rejuvenous cryo chamber, froze to death after entering one of the cryotherapy chambers after hours. So she got stuck in a cryo chamber and she froze to death. That is a bit of an irony. The gruesome discovery was made after the Rejuvenous employee came to work the other morning and found Ake dead inside one of the company's cryotherapy chambers. According to the Rejuvenous website, these cryonists or cryo chambers are an alternative to cold water immersion or ice packs that decrease the cell growth and increase cellular survival by subjecting the occupant with dry air that dips below negative 240 degrees Fahrenheit. Yeah, you would be like a piece of glass at that cold. It says the treatment's only supposed to last for 2 or 4 minutes, but this woman who got stuck in one of the chambers was in there for at least 10 hours. Surveillance camera shows after Ake closed up shop, she walked to the back where the cryo chambers are located. There are no cameras in that area, so investigators can only assume Ake got into one of them but by herself and that the machine did not turn off. Well, why would you do it unsupervised? It says investigators say she likely suffered within seconds, and they say her death was due to operator error. Her family disputes the claim, stating that Ake was in. Investigators say the coroner is looking. Well, I don't know if it's considered foul play. I'm trying to, without screwing it up even anymore. Chamber does not require the use of a mask or any other full body chambers that require use of. So it's some type of way of euthanizing yourself again, I guess, so to speak. So let's indicate being inside a cryo chamber is suffocating in the cryo chamber is the least horrible way to die at work, including being cooked inside in. And, okay, they're comparing it to the guy who got stuck in the tuna steamer and stuff. But I guess there's like certain gases it's indicating, so she might have died of asphyxiation from the gases that are dispersed from these cryo chambers. They say the investigators at the coroner's office told them they were looking into the gases Ake inhaled before her death, as well as the chamber's mechanisms, and whether she could have kept her head above the chamber to breathe. Well, even if she could keep, they're indicating it could have been like certain, I guess, gases are given off that make the temperature that cold. Could have killed her before even the cold did, but you're talking below 240 degrees. That is not safe. Yeah, here it is. You can actually look at the link. It's called rejuvenus.net, a modern approach to healing. I should probably, well, it's a new way of basically healing yourself. I'm not even joking. This is a real deal, too. The modern approach to healing. Cryotherapy is a local or general use of low temperatures in medical therapy. The term cryotherapy comes from the Greek cryo, meaning cold, and therapy, meaning cure. Cryotherapy has been used as early as the 17th century. Reduces inflammation and pain, accelerates tissue healing, strengthens immune system, improves blood circulation, boosts metabolism and energy levels, burns 500 to 800 calories, instant anti-aging effect, there you go, detoxification, and helps rebuild serotonin, beneficial against depression and anxiety. It kind of sounds interesting, but again, why would you do this unsupervised? And the locations are like in Las Vegas, Nevada, and that might be like the only one. Yeah, and there's another one in Henderson, Nevada. I'm looking at what it gives you like a dress thing. I was wondering if they give you prices, how much this really cost. This is book appointment, but yeah, this is a real. It's called Rejuvenus. It's a cryotherapy thing. They don't give you prices, and they give you like these model type looking people. So there's something to say about that. It's almost like cosmetic surgery, another form of cosmetic surgery now. Local, facial and cellulite. Well, yeah, you're freezing the fat right there. I've actually did go. I might have mentioned that before, to one of these plastic surgery places. This is like another step of that almost, kind of, so to speak. So, yeah, this woman paid with her life by doing it on her own. Actually, I might be less than 5 stories because honestly, the one I've actually already read, so I'm going to check. So my last 3 stories, actually one's not a story. It was just a link. It's called Big Head, Back to the Future, Low Carb Comedy. I actually like that. It's a Facebook link. And the next one, which I'll read, the other one I nothing to read. It's just a Facebook page. I'm kind of glad. The 20 hottest celebrity costumes. So I'm not going to read all of those when I get to that. I'm going to read this one first. This was on besthorrormovies.com. Real life Sweeney Todd and Joe Roy Metheny sold human meat for from barbecue stand. This is no joke. This was on October 1st. So this is going back. This is real life horror stories keep us captivated. There's something about life imitating art and art imitating life that grabs our attention, doesn't let it go. Digging up, the inspiration behind Jeepers Creepers was a blast. And today we're going to explore another similar to film scenario. While Sweeney Todd, the Demon Barber in of Fleet Street wasn't inspired by a factual case of serial killers, Joe Roy Metheny appears as though Metheny found some inspiration in Sweeney Todd's story, which dates all the way back to 1846. I think it was a musical actually, but some guy actually got influenced by the Sweeney Todd story, true to life guy. Yeah, it just basically says people were familiar with Sweeney Todd. He was a lunatic barber who chopped the customers up, then turned them into meat pies and sold them through a local pie shop with his partner in crime, Miss Lovett. Metheny damned near duplicated this entire process, although it seems there was greater degree of fury behind the man's motivations. Metheny is now 60 years old, tips the scale at roughly 450 pounds, and is spending his final days in a prison in Baltimore. But from 1976 to 95, the man was a killer of prostitutes and transits and a feeder of the people. Some chilling testimonies from the man. And it's, quote, I cut the meat up and then put it in some Tupperware bowls and then put it in a freezer, and then he buried the remains in several shallow graves in a little woods behind the company. I'm just making sure I'm getting some levels here, yo. Sorry, I got to go back. I got my, yeah, this guy was a real-life Sweeney Todd, so to speak. Over the next couple of weeks, or on the weekend, I opened up a little open pit beef stand. I had real roasted beef and pork sandwiches, and why not? They were really good. The human body taste was very similar to pork if you mix together with if you mix it together with no one can tell. Well, you know what? That's funny. That's actually more like Texas Chainsaw Massacre than I would say Sweeney Todd, because that's the whole deal with the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. He says it makes you wonder what you're getting when you make a dash for the roast side eateries, etc. Apparently, Metheny planned to keep his business moving along, eliminating the unfortunates of the earth. I just put in unfortunates while filling local bellies. But filling local bellies became a problem when the meat supplies ran dry. Wow, this story is like a little longer than I wanted it to be. So this guy, I mean, seriously, if you watch those Texas Chainsaw Massacre stories, there was one that actually happened and some other horror movies. They basically just talking about this guy even more. It says, I'm going way down. Some of this stuff is, you have to read it for yourself, folks. It says everything was going pretty good until I ran out of special meat, and I lured another bitch up to my trailer, and I got her there and started to rip her clothes off and knocking the hell out of her. She was screaming, but there was no one around her to excerpt her. So it just kept on laughing at her, and basically, I guess he must have killed her. I turned around for a split second, and then she was my mistake, for she ran out the door, and I could before I could get her. This guy says there was an 8-foot chain link fence with barbed wire on the top around the front of the company. There was a stack of wooden pallets next to the fence, about 10 feet high. The guy states, this lunatic said, the bitch scaled the pallets like a monkey and then jumped the fence and then ran down the main road, where some guy in a pickup truck picked her up and took her to a nearby gas station where she called the cops. So this guy got busted, I guess. And I don't think this was the only time. I'm just trying to see what other stuff he might have stated. Yeah, it's a pretty gruesome story, it looks like. Yeah, there's a lot of quotes in this, too. I found out that someone that was going under that bridge is getting high with some homeless motherfuckers who lived under the bridge. I guess this is other stories about this guy, how he got his meat, so to speak, human meat. Guy wanted her looking for him. The homeless motherfuckers, it does say motherfuckers, by the way, got high with them down there, and they were passed out. Some of them old stinking mattresses, and that's where they were when I left, except they were dead from being chopped up. Yeah, I guess, honestly, you make probably more sense out because I'm just thought I could just do a little bit, read a little bit here and there, and you really can't. You have to go through the whole thing. There's one quote. He said, I was arrested and charged with the murder of two men he had chopped up. He spent close to 18 months in Baltimore jail waiting for his trial. The trial lasted a week, and he was thrown out of court because of lack of evidence. So this guy did get caught on occasions, and then he just got left out again. So I guess they finally may have caught him. And it says at the end of the story, again, it's on besthorrormovies.com. This is actually a real story. The real live Sweeney Todd, Joe Roy Metheny sold human meat from a barbecue stand. So that was on October 1st. That was the name of the title. But the very end of this story, by the way, it actually has a link. It says, if you want to read a whole lot of additional disturbing yet interesting info on Metheny, including personal declarations, you may want to visit the page just right here. There's a link, and it's just concerning but fascinating. So it's not very long, but it's just like, I guess, it's called Murderpedia. So more about that guy. So I apologize for that story. It is pretty demented. It's probably better to read it now. I read horror stories all the way through the year, but it's more appropriate almost, if I may use that word for Halloween. Anyway, much lighter story. It's my last one. It's on theriches.com. 20 of the hottest celebrity Halloween costumes. And trust me, I will only read the ones I recognize or actually can pronounce their names. Carmen Electra as Katy Perry. And yes, she's got on like some really ultra tight spandex shorts, and she's dressed up like Katy Perry in blue hair. And to say the least, she is very hot looking. Rose McGowan as a French Renaissance woman is the next one. Let me see what that looks like so I can comment on it. Not that great, but I love Rose McGowan. Sarah Jean Underwood as Lilo, from The Fifth Element. Not that impressive. Next one is Christina Aguilera as a cop. Yeah, that one is actually hot. She looks very hot. Next one is Rhina. Is it Rhina as a Ninja Turtle? I shouldn't even pronounce. Yeah, it's really bad. Really bad. Lindsay Lohan. Yeah, she did look hot as an 80s aerobic dancer. Yeah, she looks really hot. She in the picture, she's got that hair dyed black. She's actually naturally a redhead, and I think she looks hotter as a redhead. Jennifer Love Hewitt as Angelina Jolie. Not that great. Not that impressive. And I love her too. Leah Michaels as a Red Riding Hood, and a really hot looking one. She's got a weird looking face, Leah Michaels. She's got an incredible voice. But I tell you, this costume she has on, she looks really hot. Next one, I kind of do dig her. It's Paris Hilton as a Playboy bunny. And she's kind of weird, I guess, because she's so ditzy. It's what annoys people about her. And she's a rich kid's little girl, but she is not bad looking. Mariah Carey as a bride, she's really sexy, actually. Yeah, she's really hot in the picture they show Mariah Carey. She's got a chipmunk face, though. Miranda Kerr as Xantenna or something. Yeah, she's hot. Emma Roberts as Pretty Woman. Let me see, because I can't remember. Yeah, Emma Roberts is not Julia Roberts. It's Eric Roberts' daughter. And she's actually dating, I think it was On and Off. She's with him. The guy from American Horror Story. He's a really good actor, though. He's kind of weird. Like when I met him, I can't remember his name now. Why don't they mention his name? I can't remember it. Aunt Julia, Robert Starr. Yeah, they're not mentioning his name, so I apologize. But she's with her boyfriend, this guy the young guy who plays American Horror Story. He's in those superhero movies too. And he's in this season of American Horror Story, it's like his best yet. He plays this wealthy, what do you call it, man who owns the hotel in this season of American Horror Story, and he looks so different. He actually really, it doesn't even look like this. It does look like him, but he actually, because he's usually a little bit kind of weird the way he talks. He acts a little bit off the wall. He actually looks like the part he's playing. Like, he's obviously a really good actor. I just wish I could remember his name, because I got a picture with him too at one point. The next one, and she's not bad looking. I really dig her, and she's got a really good voice when she uses it. It's Fergie as Elvira. And she's really good. Next one's Rhonda Rosie as Sailor Moon. Is that the way you say her name? I said I was going to mention ones I can't mention. And so far, I've said everybody. Lucy Hale as Twitterbird. Lucy Hale? You know what? I look at the picture. It says Lucy Hale, but I swear to God, I thought it was Selena Gomez, because it looks just like Selena. She's dressed up as a Twitterbird, whatever that means. Besides having all bright blue on and everything else. The next one was Miley Cyrus as Little Kim, which I covered up that picture because I think she had her boobs with pasties. Miley did. The next one, number 4, because actually I went through them all so far. Jay Wow as a schoolgirl. Wow would be perfect, but it does. It says Jay Wow. Oh my God, yeah. Jennifer Lopez as the devil. I saw that one before. It's all right. Heidi Klum as a cat. Now, honestly, Heidi Klum's not like in this cat costume is not great, but she really did put a lot of effort into her costume, which is more impressive than anything else. I mean, she really did a really good job. And that's the last one, by the way. So I'm done torturing people for tonight. So I hope you kind of enjoyed what I did. And if I really tortured you a lot, then I did my job. No, then I'm truly sorry. But anyway, I got to sign off. It is now 2 o'clock in the morning, so my time on this Tuesday. So everyone, I hope you enjoyed my show. I am signing off. I'm going to put everything together so I can finish with what I'm doing and take care of business and go to bed. So everyone, have a good Tuesday morning. It's Halloween week, folks. So I will be signing off, and who knows when I'll be back on there. But hopefully I'll get some listeners too. Alrighty. Have a good morning, everyone. It's Walter from iWalter.